All right. Well, welcome everybody to the webinar. We're going to get this thing started. I'm going to start my video here. We're already live on Facebook. So let me shut this out over here, and I'm going live. Well, welcome. There I am. And I'll tell you, folks, it's a lot of fun. Here we are. 2022, and the economy has changed, and I think, in some ways for the better, in some ways, I mean, like we were just talking about, you look at the cost of things, it's gone up, it's skyrocketed. But what a buddy of mine, Mark, and I were talking about yesterday is that, when there's a need, people come up with alternative ways. And so I'm going to say, out of all this, with the, gas prices have gone up from just under $2 a gallon 2 years ago to now where it's almost $4 a gallon. Some places in the United States, it's over $5 a gallon. What's going to come out of that is we're going to find alternative fuels, and it's not going to be electricity. And, because the mother invention is the need, is the necessity, and that's what's going to drive it. And so I'm looking forward to it. I'm optimistic about it. At the same time, in the temporary world, everything's gone up. It's skyrocketed. We can't ship products here in the United States without having an increase rate of about 40% from where it was a year ago. I mean, holy cow. And so we all need to make more money. And that's where I was leading my conversation, is that, because of what's happening in the world. I mean, do you want to go out and get another job? Do you want to work 9 to 5, get home, clean up, and go back to work at your second job, put your second uniform on, and welcome to Walmart, or whatever, whatever it happens to be, flipping some burgers, delivering some pizza. A friend of mine, he's a retired Air Force pilot. I mean, he's flown in a lot of missions, and he and I were talking the other day. To make ends meet, he's driving Uber, driving a taxi, driving a car. And I thought, wow, I mean, when I'm retired, really retired, over the age of 70, I don't want to have it a necessity that I go to work. And do you? I mean, think about it. Do you want to have a job? Do you want to have to go out and find a job because you didn't plan ahead, and you didn't have anything that was going to continue to pay you a long-term residual income? And a buddy of mine, he played bass guitar with Bob Dylan on Blood on the Tracks, and so every time the radio station plays that song, plays any of the music off that album, he gets paid a little bit. Another friend of mine wrote a book, and every time somebody buys that book, he makes a little bit of money. So think about that. I mean, have you written a book, a bestseller, a New York Times bestseller that's going to pay you for the rest of your life? Did you write a song? Did you play, an instrument on an album that 40 years later is still popular? Chances are no. Chances are that's reserved just for probably 10% of the population or less. The rest of us, we have to come up with other ways. And so what a lot of people do is they resort to getting a second job. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have a first job anymore. I mean, really, I want to build what I'm doing, because, I was talking earlier, I went out for a walk with my dog today, and it's one of the first times in my adult life that I've been able to go for a long walk and not have any back pain or any leg pain. And I enjoyed that. That was good. But, if you have a job, if your back's hurting, you're still going to work. If your leg's hurting, you're still going to work. And because you don't make money if you're sitting at home, not with a job, they don't pay you. I mean, think about it. If you didn't show up for work tomorrow, and you didn't show up all of next week, would the company you're working for pay you? Would they send you your paycheck? Maybe you have a job that will, but chances are most people, if you don't show up, you're trading time for money. And so when I talk about my portion of the call, this call that we've been doing now for about 3.5, maybe 4 months, Katie and I started doing this call, And Rennie joined us in the beginning, and she got busy with some other things. But what can we do to build an income that's going to pay us for the rest of our life? And so that's what I really want to talk about. And I love this company, Sisel. You can see in the background, Sisel, Sisel. I love this company because we have a great compensation plan. We have 8 ways of making money. I'm not going to go through that. But the way it's set up, it's pretty easy to understand. You don't have to discuss the 8 ways of making money in order to discuss how this works. And I was talking to my friend Michelle last night, and I told her, I said, look, most of the people are going to want to tell you no. On average, if you talk to 30 people, so if you talk to one new person every single day for a month, 30 new people, chances are, and I'm giving you the stats, I'm not trying to discourage you, I'm just being realistic. If you talk to 30 people, 29 people want to tell you no. 29 people out of 30 want to tell you no. That's the real numbers when you look at it. Now, you might talk to your best 30 right away, and hey, that's what we're looking for. And people that want that, all 30 of them say yes, but then you're gonna, when you take your average and you average it out over the thousands of people that it's going to come up to about 1 out of every 30 wants to tell you yes, and that they'll get into business with you, and they'll help you do this. So what I try and tell people is that, be prepared to go to work and talk to a lot of people. Figure out how to share the information in a short period of time. I mean, can you imagine if you could share the information in 2 to 5 minutes? 2 to 5 minutes, and you could basically, after 2 to 5 minutes, you could tell if they're wearing a red shirt or a green shirt. If they're wearing a red shirt, it means they want to tell you no. It just means that they're one of the 29. And if they're wearing a green shirt, they're the 1 out of 30. And so just imagine everybody that you talk to, they're wearing a red shirt or a green shirt. And all you're doing is you're going through life, and you're looking for the green shirted people, and they want to tell you yes. And then you have to spend a little bit more time with them. You have to get me on the phone with him. You have to get Katie on the phone with him. You have to get them to listen to a few phone calls, and you have to do a little bit more work. That's the work part of it. Networking, right? It's not net playing, it's networking. But you work smart, not hard. And so when I talk to people, if somebody gives me an inkling that they're going to say no, I say no for them before they have a chance to tell me no, because I hate getting rejected. So I'm giving everybody the no answer. It's coming into my ear before it comes out of their mouth. So if I'm talking to somebody and I'm sharing this information with them, and they say, oh, is this one of those? And before they can even say anything, I'm sharing with them. I say, you know what? Maybe what I was going to talk about isn't right for you at this time. And they're like, well, what are you doing? Because people hate it when you take it away. You give it and you take it away. You yank it out from underneath them. You say, nah, it's not the right time. Right? Because now you didn't ruin that prospect. You didn't ruin it for a later time. And so, that's what I do. That's what I do. And I talk to a lot of people. I talk to a lot of people every single day. And I'm yanking that away from them. I'm pulling that business card out of their hand all the time, because, I just don't like to hear a rejection. And a lot of people say, you got to give them a chance to say no. Well, I gave them the chance. They just kind of said a soft no, and I took it as a hard no. And I don't look at it as being a no, not never. I look at it as being a no, not now, right? Maybe later on they'll have an interest in doing what I'm doing. And so that's why I always say, don't chase them away. And then, Michelle asked me last night, well, what do we do? She wants to sell products to people. She wants to sell the product. She said, I don't feel comfortable talking about the products. I don't know all the science behind it. Whoa. That's not what you're doing. That's not what you're doing. I mean, and you hear me say this explanation that, if I go to McDonald's, I'm going to pick on McDonald's again. If I go to McDonald's and I love their Big Mac. Okay, let's just say that I do. I really don't. I don't go there. I go there once in a while to buy their coffee, but because I do like their coffee. I think it tastes pretty good. And when I'm traveling, I like to have a good cup of coffee, and I don't like spending $5 or $6 for it, but because I'm cheap also. But if you love their Big Mac, You don't go there and go, ooh, I think I'm going to open up McDonald's because I love the Big Mac. No, if you're going to open up McDonald's, it's because you have an idea that you want to build a business. You're an entrepreneur and you want to build a business. You want to pick a business that's already proven to be a success. It's got a track record. And so you pick McDonald's because it's got a track record. They've served billions of hamburgers. They know how to make a hamburger. They don't know how to make a good one, but they know how to make a hamburger. And so you start a business, but you didn't go there and eat the Big Mac, and that's what made you change your mind. You didn't go, oh, I love the product, and now I'm going to start the business. It's like, no, you had that idea. I'm going to start a business. So what I try and tell people, and what I'll tell my friend Michelle last night, that okay, so what is our business? Well, our business, real simply, is that we're looking for 3 people who want to start a business. It's key, and I keep hammering on this because I want you to get it. You're looking for 3 people. Why only 3? Well, because 3 is what I consider to be a brick, right? And if we're building a brick wall, you got to have your bricks, and you stack one brick on top of the other. So you put the wall together brick by brick by brick, and each brick is 3 people that you found that want to be in business. Once you found 3, you find 3 more. When you find 3 more, you find 3 more, and you just keep building on that and building on that and building on it. And and I've enrolled since I've been in Sisel, I've enrolled about 500 people. Of those 500 people, less than 100 are still in the company because there's attrition. People move on. They need new tires for the car, and they go, well, I can't afford those products anymore, and they never come back. Some people die, some people move away, and they just never get reconnected. It happens. It happens. Stuff happens, right? We've heard that saying, stuff happens. And so what we want to say is that, so you're looking for 3 people that are going to stick, and they're going to go out and they're going to do this. And Michelle asked me, she said, well, what do we say? Well, what's the business? Well, the business is going out and find 3 people who want to be in business. Now, I got to pause for a while. I want you to think about that. Think about that. We're in the business. And what is the business? Well, the business is finding 3 people who want to be in business. So when I find 3 people, what do I tell them? Well, we're going to go out and help you find 3 people who want to be in business. Well, what is the business? Well, the business is finding 3 people who want to be in business. And then what do? Well, they go out and find 3 people that want to be in business. We're looking for 3 people who want to be in business. Remember, you don't go eat the Big Mac and say, I want to be a Big Mac franchise, right? You go into it and you go, I want to have a business. I want to have a successful business. And here's the deal. Statistics, 95% of businesses, small businesses that start up today, within the next 5 years, going to be gone. Well, actually, it's closer to 97%. They'll be gone. 97% will be gone in the next 5 years. So think about that. Do you want to go with a company that, if you're starting a network marketing company, do you want to go with a company that just popped up tomorrow? Hey, I got this great new adventure. They just got started. Nobody's heard of them yet. 97% chance that they'll be gone in 5 years. Or do you want to go with a company like Sisel? We've got a 14-year track record. We've been here. We've had the problems. We've worked out the problems. We've ironed them out. Yeah, we had problems. You bet we have. We've ironed them out. You don't start a multi-million-dollar company without having problems. And that's where we are, is that we're growing. We've had the best year we've ever had as far as a company goes, right? Now, I mean, is there problems going on in some parts of the world? You bet there are, right? I mean, heck, if you were in Ukraine and you were running a Sisel business, do you think that you'd have problems right now? That's right. The products aren't getting shipped over there, right? We had people in Kazakhstan, over in Russia. We're not shipping products over there either right now, right? So, I mean, it changes. The world changes, and those are things that are out of your control. So you control the things that you can control. And what is it? We're looking for 3 people who want to be in business. And what is the business? It's helping other people get into business. That's the business that we're in. Well, doesn't there have to be some product that gets exchanged? You bet there has to be product that has to be exchanged. That's how we make the money, because 85% of your paycheck is going to come from happy, healthy customers. So along the way, I'm going to have 29 people out of 30 who are going to say to me, Kurt, not interested. I'm already busier than I can possibly be already. but I'd like to take a look at those products that you got. A friend of mine, I talked to her yesterday. She said, hey, I'd love to try those products. Super. What products are you interested in? Right? That's how I get my customer. But I don't start out and say, hey, we got a great weight loss program. How'd you like to sell this? Because most people don't like to go out and sell things, right? They can't imagine themselves being a hardcore pushy salesman. Hey, you want to buy this weight loss program, fatty? No, that's not what they want to do. But if you say, hey, have you ever thought about starting a business? Do you know anybody that's ever thought about starting a business? Yes. 1 out of 30 people will say yes. And then you say, great, I've got something that you might be interested in. It's a business. And what is the business? Well, we're helping other people find businesses. You know, we're looking for 3. We're looking for 3. How long will it take you to find 3? How long till? It all depends. I mean, if you've got a low level of credibility, it's going to take you a little bit longer. If you have a short list of people that you know, if you only know 3 people, I mean, it's going to take you a lot longer, because I'm going to have to help you develop a friends list that's a little bit bigger than that. And so that's what it is, folks. That's what it is. And you buy and you consume the products yourself. You become your own best customer. And the way that this thing is all set up, we go out and help you find 3, who find 3, who find 3. Each of you purchases enough product that it qualifies you to get paid the highest level in the compensation plan. That's called the PV, the personal volume. So you have 300 PV, that qualifies you to get paid the highest level in our compensation plan. We find 3 people who find 3 people who find 3 people. That's 39 people. That's this brick that I'm talking about. And now we help each of those 3 people do the same thing. And each of those 3 people do the same thing. And guess what happens? Each time you help one more person build their own brick, your paycheck goes up, 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 right? And, you know, and people say, well, how much money can you make? I was talking to a friend of mine last week, and he's in a different company, but, you know, it doesn't matter what company you're with. It's there as long as you're working it, and they have a good compensation plan. But he was making $700,000 a month. Think about that. Not per year, not one time. He made $700,000 per month. And I just tell people, holy cow, I mean, what would it cost to get started in a business that could possibly pay you $700,000 a month? And the answers you'll get are just crazy. People will tell you, they say, like last night, a friend of mine said, she said, oh, it's going to cost several million to get business started that will do that. And I said, well, not quite. It's actually less than $500. So, folks, thanks for being with me tonight. That's my portion of the call. I do this every Friday night, and I went over by 2 minutes tonight, Katie. I'm a little bit sorry for that, but I had stuff that I want to say. I don't re-rehearse this stuff. I mean, I just kind of wing it. I think of it as I'm flying along here, and so sometimes I go overboard a little bit, get a little bit of diarrhea of the mouth. You know what I mean?
That's all right. Well, thanks for that section, Kurt. That was great. And I'm going to jump into the product section of the call. So if you've just joined us, welcome. Thanks for jumping on. And if you're watching the recording, thanks for watching the recording. I'm just going to share my screen here. Oops, wrong screen. Okay, before we get started, I thought I'd talk about a disclaimer, make sure we cover ourselves legally. So any of the information I'm sharing today is not designed to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness. And if you are unwell, please consult your healthcare professional before taking supplements. So I won't read the whole thing, but just wanted to add that in there. And so today we're going to talk about Avenger. So I thought I'd just share a little bit about myself, that I have a degree in health and have studied quite a lot of nutrition, and I'm very much into preventative health and lifestyle factors, things that you can do to improve your health. So this is a great passion of mine. And so this is one of the reasons why I love doing these calls with Dr. Kurt, because we talk about the products in the second half. And today's product that we're talking about obviously is Avenger, which you can see on the screen, and it's a very powerful immune supporting product. And so, Kurt, I will ask you to, I guess, chime in a couple of times when I ask you a couple of questions on here, and hopefully you can add to this call for us. Okay, so the first slide here we've got is Avenger. So it's really a combination of East meets West. So it's health wisdom from the dust of China's past. So this particular product has ingredients that are sourced based on Chinese natural remedies, and it's combined with technology advances in modern science. So bringing the best of science and nature together. And I'm a big believer in this, is, you know, finding what science has to offer today and how can we combine that with what the best that nature has to offer as well. So this is an extremely powerful all natural ingredients that are sourced. Oh, Kurt, you might need to mute yourself there.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Yeah, so it contains powerful all natural ingredients, and so they're synergistically combined to provide a powerful formula. I've heard the saying, or you may have heard the saying, in fact, I was talking about this with my friend last night, is the sum of the parts is greater than the whole. So is that, you know, bringing individual elements together can have a much greater impact than just one ingredient by itself. And so this is very true, and particularly so in this formula. So we've got quite a number of powerful ingredients in this blend, and these ingredients are designed to support the immune system. Now, I have heard it said before that this particular formulation is a broad spectrum support for bacterial and viral when your body is fighting these kind of things. And these are the ingredients that we've got in this product. So you can see they're actually quite extensive. So we've got chaga, we've got cat's claw, olive leaf. Olive leaf is a big one. You know, people often go out and buy this from their health food store. This particular ingredient is really known to support and boost the immune system. And so we've got that in there. We've got red root, ashwagandha, a bit of a tongue twister there. So another fantastic ingredient for supporting immune system. Allicin, this is a really interesting ingredient. So when you have garlic, the key ingredient in garlic that really boosts the body's natural immune system is allicin. And so the extract from garlic is allicin. And so it's really concentrated in this product. So another fantastic immune boosting ingredient. We've got lotus, we've got lime extract and elderberry extract. And so, Kurt, I just thought I might invite you at this section of the call just to comment on any of these particular ingredients that really stand out to you that add, I guess, power into this product.
You bet. Oh, thanks for asking me. You know, as I go through it, of course, chaga, it's a fungal type of a growth, and grows on the side of birch trees in cold temperatures, extreme cold temperatures. And they found that it helps to improve one's immune system. It's been used in the Eastern countries, Russia and China, for thousands of years because they found out that it works so well. Red root is a Native American ingredient found here in the United States, where the Native Americans used it for improving health, improving the immune system. And then ashwagandha is actually what we call an adaptogenic herb. And so if somebody has too much immune function, like say autoimmune type of a disease, it pulls the immune system back a little bit. So think about like pulling the reins back on your horse when you're riding your horse. And if your immune system isn't working good enough, what it does is it kind of kicks the horse in the rear and makes the horse run a little bit faster. So that's what adaptogenic really means. Really, really good. You know, when you take a look at lime, of course, vitamin C and all of that. So, you know, lime extract for the immune system is amazing. And then elderberry, you know, we heard a lot about elderberry 2 years ago when this whole virus thing hit the world. Elderberry is used in it's a synthetic form of elderberry, is used in a drug called Tamiflu, because they found that it was so good on helping kill viruses, right? So that's why they made the synthetic version. Well, I'm not going to say that our product can do that, because of course, like Katie put up there earlier on the claims that we can make, we can't say that. But you look up Tamiflu, you look up elderberry, and that's what you're going to find. And I'll tell you what, I haven't missed a dose in 2 years.
All right, fantastic. And so you're taking Avenger every day?
Every day.
Wow. Okay, great. And your family's taking it too, is that correct?
My parents are.
Yeah, fantastic. Fantastic. All right. So the ingredients in Avenger provide support against the symptoms of infection and irritation, insect and tick irritation. So this product actually was designed to support people with Lyme disease. And Lyme disease is actually a tick-borne infection caused by bacteria. And this actually gets into the body and causes a lot of problems. And the other great thing about Avenger is that obviously it supports anyone who's got a cold or a flu, and can give them that little extra boost and help their body do the work that it needs to do with these fantastic ingredients. So this is really interesting, the way that this product was put together, because of the interest that I guess Tom and I think some other people in Sisel had with the actual topic of Lyme disease. So as I mentioned before, Lyme disease is a tick-borne infection. There's actually a hard shell which the tick has, and it gets right into, and that causes problems for people. Kurt, do you want to explain how that shell causes problems?
Well, the problem with it is that, when you take a look at this tick, it's hard to kill it because of the shell itself. And so that's where some of these ingredients that Tom has in there, there's actually an ingredient, I don't know if you listed it, but it's an ingredient that comes from coconut oil, and it helps to dissolve that shell.
Wow, fantastic. Yes, so really interesting product. Now, there is lots of testimonials on this particular subject, which you can find on Dr. Kurt's YouTube channel or on the Sizzlers Connect YouTube channel. And so when I'm sending out this recording, I'm going to include a link to that, so you can, if you wanted to share that with people, they could listen to those testimonials there. So Sisel Avenger, and this was a comment made by Tom previously, said that it contains 10 extremely effective and highly concentrated ingredients. And he actually made the statement that some over 100 times more than the natural ingredient they came from. So, we talk about that. If you want to, get nutrients into your diet, people say, well, eat a balanced diet. But certain herbs, when the extract is actually taken, are much more powerful than eating the actual substance that it came from. And it wouldn't really be possible to eat that particular substance. So I've given an example before in a previous presentation where I've talked about, say, ficitin as an ingredient in strawberries. You couldn't eat enough strawberries to get a really concentrated extract of ficitin. It just wouldn't be possible. And this comment just really goes on to say, I firmly believe that with each ingredient used in the very highest levels that studies show attain maximum results, gives immense support like never before to the body's immune system, with such a vast array of powerful ingredients never seen before in natural or pharmaceutical medicine. It is like unto the Avenger, attacking immunity support needs with ferocity like it never ever been done before in the history of human health. I mean, this is how passionate Tom was about this particular product. And he said that if you take Sisel Avenger with the diatomic hydrogen enriched water, our H2 stick, watch your body rebound with resilient and shoot up like you're bouncing on a trampoline. So Sisel's Avenger is powerful beyond anything I've ever seen before. That was a comment made by him. He also made this post here, which I thought I'd just share as well. So East meets West in this marvelous formulation. It's modern science combined with ancient science to create the masterpiece of vitality in all the history of human health. I do believe with all the knowledge and passion I have within me. It took me over a year to formulate and to get the actives created, a long time, a lot of work and effort, resulting in immunity product. And he says that this is dreams are made of. So it's great for adolescents, young, old alike, with the power that may well be beyond belief. And that was a post shared by Tom on January 20th, a couple of years ago. So I wanted to put that in there because he was extremely passionate about this formula. And again, there is a talk by Tom that was done on this particular product, which is on YouTube, that you can find that particular presentation if you're interested in learning more about this product. And like Kurt said, we have to be careful about what we say. We don't want to get into making any claims regarding our products, but we do want to share with you the power and how good they actually are. So we often choosing our words very wisely and be very mindful of what we say. So you can take Avenger twice a day, and this particular formulation just provides immense support. not only for the immune system, but also cognitive abilities as well. Kurt, how often do you take this product a day?
I take it twice a day.
Okay, great. And how many tablets are you taking a day?
I'm taking 3 in the morning, 3 at night.
Okay, and what's your main reason at the moment for taking this product?
My main reason is because this stupid virus that's happening in the world.
Yeah, okay. And so you're providing that extra support there.
Yep, I don't want to get sick. I just I've got another 50 years to go.
Yeah, great. So the features and benefit of these products are immune system enhancement, vibrant looking skin, so it can really help improve the feel and look of your skin. It's a powerful antioxidant supplement. It's highly concentrated natural extracts and nutrients for potential improved cognitive and physiological functions. So really fantastic formulation here. Now, Kurt, we're just about on the half hour, and maybe we can just add in for another minute or two. Would you be able to share a testimonial on this product? I know that you've spoken to so many people about this product. I remember there was this one gal who was using this product. She had a sore on her leg that she couldn't get rid of. And there's been a number of people that have been using this product, you know, because they've been looking for some support, who've been suffering from Lyme's disease. Yeah, can you add anything here that you'd like to share on this product before we finish up?
You bet. Well, I'm not going to share about that lady. I'll share about one of my friends. Her and her whole family were suffering from Lyme disease. They were, I mean, it was really bad. They were getting support from their local church because neither one of them could work, or if they did go to work, I mean, they wouldn't work very long, and then they'd be disabled again. And the kids were suffering from issues at school. And so when Tom came out with the Avenger, I'd already had him on a few products, and it was better. It helped. But when I put him on the Avenger, it made the big difference. All of a sudden, the kids started seeing their grades going up in school. They were able to concentrate. In fact, I would say today, based on what I'm reading on Facebook posts, they're no issues at all with the kids. And the mom recovered quite a bit, but I think she has a little bit of lapses here and there, but really she was able to go back to college, got her degree in nursing, became an RN. And the husband, he went back to work full time, has no issues at all. So they went from all of them being pretty much disabled to almost totally back to normal.
Fantastic.
This product. Yeah.
Amazing formulation. So that's it on the presentation today. So thank you for viewing this presentation. So please get back to the person who invited you to this presentation if you'd like to learn more about this product. And that's a wrap for me today, Kurt.
All right. Well, I'm just going to end it with this. I'm going to say, you listen to Katie. She's got some great information. She loves the science. And I think a lot of people do. But think about this. When you go out and you're sharing this with people and you're saying, hey, I'm looking for 3 people who want to start a business. And they say, well, what are the products? You say, I'm glad you asked. Check this out. And you can have them listen to this presentation. You don't have to become the scientist. Just be good at sharing these presentations. Get good at sharing the presentation that Katie's given you. She's doing the work for you. She's doing the heavy lifting. And all you have to do is share that with people. And you say, just imagine over 30 products that work as powerful as this one. And if you're watching this and you're thinking to yourself, well, does it really work? Does it work as good as Katie just said? Yeah, it works that good and more. So anyhow, Katie, thanks for being with us. Everyone, thanks for being here and sharing your time with us. Time is very, very valuable these days. And so we really appreciate it. For those of you that are listening to the recording, get back to the person that shared it with you and just say, hey, thanks. And let them know if you're interested or not interested, because it's just as important if you say, no, not interested, because now that person's not going to bug you. Where if you don't ever say no, they're going to keep chasing you. And we don't want that. That's not what we're in the business for. Right, Katie?
That's right. So thanks, Kurt. Thanks for today.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.